Okay, now in my next box, the GCF is right up there. We're going to actually find the GCF for these. Okay, so now I take out this other sheet of paper, and there's three things you check for in a GCF. Is the very first number negative? If yes, then the GCF's automatically negative. Well, it is negative up there, so I make a negative. Does each term contain any type of x? Okay, if yes, then the GCF has x to the smallest power. Well, both these lines I made, there's x on both of them. So I take the smaller x, x to the 1. Okay, and then 3 and 30. I punch those in. You can't punch in negatives. It's just got to be 3, 30. Those are the two numbers I have. Calculate, and it says the GCF is 3. So I put a negative, it's negative 3. So when I go through with that process, I put negative 3x to the 1 out here, put a parentheses around it, and I divide these because I'm doing the opposite of the rainbows. And whenever I put an x under the line, I should be able to cross out x somewhere where they have the same power. Okay, and then I do my calculation. I take negative 3 divided by negative 3, that's 1. There's still going to be an x there. 2 minus 1, you minus them. You take 2 minus 1, that's always going to be 1. So 1x to the first. And then I take 30 divided by negative 3, negative 10. So I put a 10 and then just put a minus. Now at this point now you want to get rid of your first powers. Okay, let's go down to the next one. GCF, is the very first number negative? Nope, so don't put it. Do you have x on all your lines? No, I don't. 24 doesn't have an x with it, so I don't put x in the GCF. Then on the calculator, I go 1, 2, and 24. 1, 2, 24. I just got 1. Now, if all I have is just plain old 1, we cross the box out. Don't do it. Okay, my next problem. Is the first number negative? No, it is not, so we won't make it negative. Do I have x on both my lines? Yeah, right here and right here. I take the x to the smaller power, to the 1. And then I punch in 14 and 16 into the GCF calculator. Calculate, I got 2. Okay, so it's 2x to the 1. So 2x to the 1 comes out, parenthesize it, and then go up and divide under your lines. So I know I can cross those x's off. Now 14 divided by 2 is 7. Then on x, we take 2 minus 1, which is always 1. And then positive 16 divided by 2 is 8. Now it's positive 8, so we're going to put a plus sign. Now get rid of those 1 powers. Don't want those there no more. Okay, my first number here is not negative, so the negative GCF's positive. And then do we have x on every line? We have it here, but we don't have it here, so don't put x. And then 1, 11, and 24. 1, 11, 24. And I got 1. Okay, remember what we said. If it's just 1, you don't need to do it because it doesn't help me at all. It doesn't change it. Okay, GCF, do you have a negative in front? No. Do you have x on both your lines? Yep. X second, x 1. We take the x to the smaller power. And then 2 and 16 go into the calculator. 2, 16. And I got 2. So 2x to the 1. So 2x to the 1 is pulled out. Okay, and then we can cross those out there. Now 2 divided by 2 is 1. There's still an x. And 2 minus 1 is 1. And then positive 16 divided by positive 2 is 8. So 8 with a plus sign. And we can parenthesize here and get rid of your first powers. Okay, next problem. GCF equals, I forgot that, sorry. Negative here, nope. You have X on everything. No, we don't have X on this line, so don't put X there. And then 1, 10, and 21 are the three big numbers. So I just got 1. So once again, what's our rule? If the GCF's 1, don't do it. Okay, GCF negative in front, nope. Do you have X on all your lines? Nope, not on 20. Okay, so I'm not going to put an X. And then 1, 8, and 20. Calculated, I just got 1. Okay, so don't do it. Okay, GCF, do you have a negative in the front? Sure. Look at your two lines. Do you have X on both lines? Yeah, so you take the X to the smaller power. Okay, and then we're going to punch in 16 and 80. Remember, it won't let you do negatives. 16, comma, 80. And I got 16, actually. So I put negative 16x to the first outside, put it in parentheses, and then go up and divide by negative 16x to the 1. We know we can cross the x's with the same power out. So negative 16 divided by negative 16 is 1. On x, 2 minus 1 is 1. Then I take positive 80 divided by negative 16, and that's negative 5. So 5 with a minus. Cross those 1's off. Okay, next problem. GCF, do you have a negative in the front? Yes, you do. Then you look at your two lines. Do you have X on both, X second, X 1? Yep, we have X on both, so I put X to the 1. And then I punch in the two big numbers, 15 and 45. 15, comma 45. GCF's 15. Okay. So negative 15x to the 1 goes out here in parentheses. And you go divide by the negative 15x to the 1. Remember, the 1's can cross out. The x to the 1's can. So negative 15 divided by negative 15 is just 1. Then x, 2 minus 1 is 1. And then I take positive 45 divided by negative 15, and that's negative 3. So 3, and I put a minus. Get those 1's out of there at that point. Okay, negative in front, no. Do you have X on all your lines? No. 35 doesn't, so I don't put a negative, I don't put an X. The only thing left to check is for 1, 12, and 35. Whenever 1's one of the numbers that you would enter in, it's just going to say the GCF's 1. And if all I can find is 1, then I just don't do it. Okay, GCF, the 40 in front's positive, so the GCF's positive. And then I have two lines. They both contain X of some power. The smallest power is 1. Okay? And then 40 and 20. Calculate it, and I got 20. So 20x to the 1, kick him out, parenthesize, and then 20x to the 1, 20x to the 1. So we know that those x's can cross out. The 20's can't cross out, just the x's. So 40 divided by 20 is 2. Then x, 2 minus 1 is 1. And then negative 20 divided by 20. Remember that minus, we put that as a negative on the top number. I got negative 1, so I put 1 with a minus. So let's get our 1's out of there. The little first powers, I don't want to see those anymore. Okay, then the last one. The 1 in front's not negative, so my GCF's positive. And I do not have X on all lines that I drew. And then 1, 3, and 54. I just got 1, so we know what that means. Okay, cross it out.